morning. I have decided in September to do a yoga class every day and to offer it up for my community, coH of Health. And I'm guessing most people won't be joining me, or nobody will be joining me on these 30 days. I'm just going to make that assumption. But please do join me if you'd like to, especially those of you who enjoy yoga. So in the 30-day period, I thought I'd draw a tarot card or a card. And since herbalism is a part of coH of Health, I thought I'd draw from this Herb Crafter tarot deck. This is going to be fun. All right, so I've got my major and minor arcanas in the guise of herbal tarot. What do we have for today? We have nettles, the ace of earth. I love nettles. They're so fortifying and nourishing, and it's a beautiful tonic herb if you're not familiar with it. And the thing about nettles is it's prickly. It will give you little prickers unless it has been dried. So when you pick it fresh, you think that it's not going to be something that you can ingest or eat. But if you let it dry, it is a beautiful tonic that helps to fortify the blood. You can put it in soups, and it's pretty much an all-around safe herb. I think if you're on an anticoagulant, you want to avoid it, but otherwise, it's a wonderful, wonderful herb. A dense evergreen forest is brimming with life. The broken branches of giant moss-covered evergreen trees make way for the sun. A healthy stand of nettles is illuminated. The tiny poison-filled syringes on the leaves and stem glisten in the light. An admiral butterfly flits about until it lands to lay eggs underneath one of the serrated leaves. The beginning of a new project can be challenging. So this is the message. Respond to practical developments with action. The outcome is closer than you think. Nettles stops us when it brushes against our skin and stings. Pay attention to what is calling. Nettle may be a familiar weed, but it's also potent medicine. You already have access to the resource you desire, but you may need help to accept it first. Rope, baskets, and clothing are also made with nettle. Find stability and prosperity in fulfilling work that takes root in the physical world. Develop your skills and enjoy your creations. Receive the gifts of the earth. Build on the path of your ancestors. Take charge of your well-being with a bite. Wildcraft young nettles tips and make pesto. Dye journal paper with nettles tea. Commit to your next steps in writing. Share your projects and plans with trusted friends. What a perfect card for our first 30 days of yoga. So what I'd like to do is over the next 30 days, try to make this practice something that's relevant for the people on the platform. And everybody is different, so I thought I'd do different types of yoga. Maybe some gentle, maybe some more vigorous, and maybe something in between on other days. So today I'm going to try to just do an all-around practice that kind of integrates both. So just allow yourself to come to a comfortable seat. If you have any blocks or props, straps that you want to use, please get them at this time. If you want to prop yourself up with a pillow, sometimes that's a kind of a nice thing to do. So I'm going to grab a pillow. Guess I'm not going to grab a pillow. I don't have any pillows here. I think I'll grab a blanket. So you could always use a blanket to prop your seat up. I'm just going to fold this up and sit on it. So just coming to a comfortable seat. Whew. Just take a couple of deep breaths in and deep breaths out. Allowing your center to find itself here in this space and time on your mat, on your yoga mat. And just start to allow the breath to bring you inward. And start to tune into the sounds. Maybe you're outside like I am and you're tuning into the sounds of nature. The singing of the birds and the bees and crickets, the buzzing. Just take a moment to drop your awareness into your seat, letting your tailbone root into the ground. And just take a moment to draw the energy in through the tailbone, up through the earth, allowing the earth's energy to aliven your essence, your spirit, your physical body. Using the earth's grid to connect you to the oneness of this plane that we call Mother Earth or Gaia. I got some friends with me. I got Theodore, my dog. And I have my two chinchillas, Little Man and Teddy, with me also. They're on either side. And just imagine the Earth's grid is crystallized, as it probably is, with elements that can help attune us if we tap into them. So allowing our palms maybe to reach up towards the sky in a receptive mode. It's receiving all the energy that wants to gift us with this attunement. With Mother Earth, with Great Spirit, the universe, the cosmos. As above, so below. And let's just take a moment to move our head around, maybe dropping our left ear towards our left shoulder, letting that right side stretch out. And then just angle over to the other side. Coming back into center, dropping your chin to your chest. Lifting your head up. Let's do that again. Drop our right ear to our right shoulder. other way. Letting the head come forward. Bringing the head up. Let's just reach our arms in the air, reaching up towards the sky. Reaching up, and then just start to angle one way and then the other way. Kind of stretching the spine. And then take your right arm down, reach your left arm overhead. Kind of full body stretch. Release the upper body. And then angle the other way. And coming back up to center. Let's just do some movement with the spine, just kind of undulating one way and the other. Like a cat dog or cat cow. Rounding and flexing. And just let the head fold. Inhaling one way and exhaling the other way. Just allowing the breath to be conscious. As we allow the breath to be conscious, the breath takes form in a more accentuated pattern. Breath likes to lead, but it also wants us to be aware of it, and conscious of it, the prana, life force. Coming back up to center. Just stretch your legs out. Just kind of hinge side to side, allowing the sitting bones to release. Shake your legs out. Maybe give them a little tap. Wake up, legs. Pick them up. Do the same with our feet. Kind of got some birds with us too. Gently tap. Gently punch our feet. And maybe just open up your toes. Kind of open them up. Wake up, toes. Other side. Do this. Your leg on the ground. It's easier. Kind of opening up those toes a little bit. Noticing the color, warmth, coolness of the feet. It's pretty warm here in Asheville. It's probably about 80, maybe 78. Actually a perfect temperature to do yoga, for me at least. Good. And then just take the soles of your feet together and then just gently let your legs move. Excuse me. And then find a stationary position, maybe come forward. Once again, tapping into the breath, noticing the breath. Noticing any tightness in your legs. Try not to force this. You can always use props. You can put pillows underneath your legs if you want to prop them up. Bring your legs out further, which might make it a little bit more doable. Just allow yourself to relax into this stretch. Let's just hold it for about a minute. We won't call it a yin pose. Really, yin needs to be 3 to 5 minutes to really activate the connective tissue. But we'll start that process here. as we hold it for a bit. One of the 30 days, or at least several of the 30 days, we'll do a yin class. And then just start to come up. And we're going to come onto all fours. We're going to bring our shoulders, our hands over our shoulders, hands about shoulder width apart, knees aligned about hip width apart, and just start to sway side to side, just leaning side to side. Maybe do some hip circles, circling the hips around one way. And then the other way, letting those hip circles be organic and natural for you, for your body. I like to close my eyes when I do this so I can allow myself to really go inward. But you do you, however it works for you. And coming back into center, just really rooting the tops of the feet as we do some cat dogs. Starting to activate maybe the shins a little bit as we once again work the back. Flexing, bending one way and then the other. Maybe pausing where it feels good to pause. Coming back into center, and just take your right shoulder towards your right hip and just kind of curl towards your right side, and then going the other way, drawing your left shoulder towards your left hip while you keep your arms straight. Coming back into center, reach your right arm in the air towards the ceiling and then weave it through. Holding here for a few breaths. If it feels right, you can straighten your left leg out. You can take your left arm behind your back, whatever works for you in your body. With your arms behind your back, taking that hand to the floor, coming back up onto all fours, bringing the knee back. And then just reach your left arm in the air, weave it through, threading the needle, coming down gently on the left shoulder. You can extend your right arm. Once again, you can extend that back leg, that right leg. Maybe even lift it up if that works for your body. Coming back onto all fours. And then just pushing back into downward facing dog. Finding the first down dog of the practice. Letting those legs stretch out. Move my mat this way. Chinchillas in my dog, but this might make it easier. A visual. And then reach your right leg in the air. Let the hips open. And then just start to close the right hip. So you try to align your left and right hip. And then bring that knee in towards you. And just start to bring that foot forward. And then bring it back. Try not to let it touch the mat. Doing it one more time. See if you can bring it forward a little further. And then back. Once again, close off the hip. Bring it forward, look between the hands, and then see if you can place that foot down. Drop to your back knee, and just start to come forward and back, stretching out that front leg. Just finding your groove, finding your pace. Turn on a little music. Just hold it as you lean back. Lean forward, back knee. Take your left hand to the inside of the right foot as you come into a twist. Take that hand to the ground with the back heel. Coming into warrior one. Warrior two. Hands to the ground, stepping back into downward facing dog. I have to get used to this. Down dog. Left leg in the air. Close the hip. Then start to bring that leg forward. Try not to put the foot down. Back up. Once again, bring it forward. Back up. Close the hip. So bring it forward, placing the foot down. Finding into Theo. Finding the stretch, coming back and forth. Coming forward, right hand to the inside, coming on the back foot, finding your twist. Right hand to the ground with the back heel, coming into warrior one. Thumbs up. And then warrior two. Hands to the ground, slipping back into down dog. Bending your knees, dropping down, coming into some cat dogs. cat-cows. Coming back into warrior one to warrior two. Reverse your warrior, radiant warrior. An extended side angle. Right knees right aligned with the ankle. Good, back to warrior two. We're going to take our back arm. We're going to come into eagle arms. Just hold here for a few breaths. And then the next inhale, you're going to take a breath in, and the exhale, you're going to just lean forward. Allow yourself to drape within the inside of the right foot. And inhaling, coming back up. Just going to start to step that back foot up. And then you're going to go forward. I'm just going to turn so you can see. And then you're going to take that left leg and you're going to reach it around for eagle. Coming into eagle. Just allow your body to sit into it. Actually, I'll turn this way. Good, and then you're going to unwind. You're going to step it back into your warrior one, to warrior two, to hands to the ground, back into your downward facing dog. Finding your breath here in down dog. Reach your leg up, look between your hands, plant it into your warrior one, coming into Virabhadrasana one, warrior one. And finding Vira two, find your warrior two, our hips are opened. Our gaze point is down, the left arm out through the fingertip. The middle finger, it's one straight line. And reverse your warrior, let it go. Coming back into warrior two, taking the back arm underneath. Take a breath in, and then fold to the inside of the left leg. And coming back up, taking your right leg and just reaching it around, finding your eagle pose. As you sit into the pose, see if you can stick it. taking your right leg, very carefully placing it back, finding your warrior one to your warrior two, and then just straighten your front leg and just start to tip forward and go back, and then bend your front leg, stick your butt out, really stick it out, and then as you come forward, start to straighten that front leg, finding your triangle. Love this way to find triangle. So reach your head forward without stretching your neck. And just allow yourself to breathe. Let the breath go. Let it do its work as you observe and watch. Good. And then coming back up. We're going to angle our right foot in towards center. So we angle our left foot in, angle our right foot out. Once again, bend that front leg, stick your butt out, really stick it out. And then as you place the hand on a block or the floor, start to straighten your right leg. You want your torso to be open. I don't have a block with me, but I probably need one, especially on this side. Just gonna kind of bring it up on my leg a bit. And then coming up, finding warrior two, straightening the leg, and then just turn your right leg in. And we're gonna just tip forward. We're going to come into a straddle fold. Just allow yourself to come forward and come onto your hands or your forearms. Some people like to take a hold of their big toes. Inhale, lift, and then exhale, fold into this straddle. And release your toes if you have them. Place your hands on your hips. Inhale, stand up. And then we're going to just turn our feet out. Our heels are in. And let's come into goddess pose. So we're going to come into the pose of the goddess. Just kind of finding a little bit of buoyancy maybe in your hips. You can move around. And then coming to stillness. Finding stillness. Just maybe letting the breath go. If you practice Ujjayi breath, that Darth Vader breath, where there's a audible sound. You breathe in and out through the nose, generating heat. I am not in need of heat right now, so just going to let the breath be natural. I'm not even going to try to force a nose breath. Just going to let myself be conscious as much as possible of the breath through the practice. And then just bringing yourself up, turning your toes in, and then bringing your feet towards each other, finding Tadasana or Samasthiti, mountain standing pose. And just close your eyes and notice. Just notice what you notice. Notice the internal and the external. I'm noticing I'm leaning more towards my left side. And then as I say this, now my natural inclination is leaning towards the other side, the right side. There's a bush in front of me, and I hear these birds playing in the bush. Just conscious of what's around me. As I find that inner stillness, I notice the outer noise. So finding tree pose for Kasana. I'm going to keep my hands here for a bit, but just allow yourself to go into your version of tree. Letting that foot rest with stability on the left leg. You can bring your arms up. Traditionally, we say in yoga, don't push into the knee joint. But I think it's kind of a given that you're not going to do that. So I'm not going to say it. I did say it, but I'm not going to say it. Well, my tree is kind of starting to fall over a bit. It's a tree in the wind. Allowing your tree to sway and move. Such a grounding pose. Maybe bring a tree to your mind's eye. Thinking of an apple tree moving into the fall, and the apples are blooming on the trees. Taking the hands to heart center before releasing down. Before you go to the other side, just notice the activation in the left side. Perhaps your right side feels a little less engaged. So let's bring it to the other side. So we're going to take our left foot and root it. Find our tree, however we want to find it. Maybe this is a different tree. For whatever reason, I'm thinking of a birch tree. Just kind of noticing what comes to mind as you engage in this grounding pose for Kasana, as it's called, Sanskrit. You're ready, coming out of the pose. And let's just come to a squat. So many people like crow pose. If you're a crow fan, you can find yourself on your mat. Just going to talk you through it. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of crow. I just feel like, it calls me to work. I actually like other arm balances much better, where I can just kind of use my flexibility instead of my strength. The crow really requires balance, flexibility, and strength, and it's a pose where you work through resistance. So there's a saying that when people fall out of crows, they push through some barrier that they've been resistant to. We don't like to think of falling as a good thing, but actually, I think in crow can be. So with crow, ideally you want to get your knees into the upper arms But anywhere on the flesh, on the upper arm, will probably do it for you, depending on your flexibility. You also want, ideally, crow crane to have straight arms, but this takes practice too. So you get yourself up there with the knees in the armpits or the upper arm. The secret to crow is looking forward, not looking down, because your weight is going to go, you're going to go where your weight is. If your head is down, your head is pretty heavy, you're going to fall. But if you look forward, you're going to be able to move the body with the direction that you're looking. You're going to come up, and you want to try to take your feet together. And then if you can, really round your back as you lift yourself up. I'm going to show you one more time. You're going to get yourself up. Bring those toes together. And then see if you can lift yourself up. Wait a few minutes for you to play with this pose. So crane or crow, or what is it called? Bakasana. It's actually the preparation for handstand. So you get those knees in the armpit, you really round the back, and then eventually you start to bring yourself up into a handstand. So I am not there yet. For 23 years, I'm still not there. But it's a beginning. Yoga's a process. Just going to give you a little time to play with this before we come into a seated pose. So once you've played with crow, you can come down. So through the 30 days, we'll play with arm balances. We'll start with Bakasana, and then we can kind of play with other arm balances. But for today, let's just make this a kind of an all levels class. Let's just take a moment to go inward. We're going to bring our left leg out and our right leg out. And bring the left foot into the inner thigh. I am not mirroring you, so it's going to look opposite. You're going to be opposite me. We're going to bring our arms up. We're just going to start to fold over the right leg. So this is called Janu Sirsasana. And this is an Ashtanga pose. There's many levels of this pose, but we're going to do the most basic one today. And just let the breath bring you forward over that right leg. And then coming up, we're going to take our kind of off our seat, just to kind of angle our hips evenly. We're just going to take that left foot over the right leg. You can bring your right leg in, or you can keep it out. It's up to you. We're sitting up tall, and we're just going to come into a stretch to the left. So sitting up nice and tall, and then sometimes it helps to exhale into the stretch. And we have a tendency to try to move our head first. Just let the torso move into the stretch first and let your head angle in alignment with the torso. coming back into center. We're going to take that left leg, we're going to reach it out, we're just going to kind of even out the sitting bones, and then take the right foot in, rolling our thigh in, or left thigh, and sitting up nice and tall, and then just finding the stretch on this side. And inhaling, coming up. We're going to take that right foot, we're going to bring it over. Again, you can bring this leg in, or you can keep it extended. We're going to sit up nice and tall. Our hips are rooted evenly. And then we're going to find that twist, once again, in the torso first. So if you're a binder, if you want to bring it around, you want to try to bind, feel free. Do all kinds of fancy things with this pose, but this is the most basic version. I'm going to come back into center, extend the legs, coming into Paschimottanasana, forward fold. Take a breath in and then just fold into the stretch. And inhaling, coming up. And let's come onto our backs. So we're going to just lay ourselves down on our backs. And we'll do a little bit of ab work. Reaching your feet up towards the ceiling. And just pretend you're lifting yourself up by the lower abdomen. Just very gentle lifts. So try not to bring, like I'm bringing my legs towards me. Try not to do that. Try to just lift straight up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bend your legs, knees are over hips, rooting your belly button down. And let's just do some, what are these things called? I forget what they're called. I don't know. Left to right, right to left. For 10, 9, 8, see if you can keep the knee over the hip. We at 7, 6, I think we might have done an extra. 5, 5, 4, 4, 3, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1. Good. Extend your legs long, arms overhead. See if you can lift yourself up, coming into boat pose or Navasana, and stay here. You can reach your arms out, you can extend your legs, which is hard to do. Come bend. Hard for me to do. Might not be hard for you. Good, and lower down to low boat, to high boat, to low, to high. Let's do that 3 more times. To low, high, 2, 2, and last one. 1, 1. Good. Cross your legs. Let's come into a back bend first before we do pigeon. So we're going to come back down onto our backs, bend your legs, and coming into bridge pose. So lifting your hips up. Good, and then just pretend you're going to lower down but don't, and then lift up. Let's do that 2 more times. Lower and lift, and then lower and lift. Good, and then lower down. Just take a breath here. You can do another bridge pose, or you can do wheel if you want. I'm going to talk you through wheel. So you're going to bring your fingers towards your shoulders. You can come onto your head, and then pushing up into your wheel or into your bridge. So allowing yourself to be in this back bend of your choice. Then slowly lowering down with care. I'm going to do that one more time. Got a lemon tree here. It's got green lemons. Hopefully they turn yellow someday. I know I'm distracted. It's beautiful. Fruited tree is just amazing to look at. Okay, let's do it again. So fingertips towards the shoulders. You can come up to the top of your head lightly and then pushing up or coming into your bridge. Letting yourself be in this back bend. When you're ready, lowering down, you just let your back relax without really doing any flexing or extending right now. Just let yourself be in this pose of repose. Ha, 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 ha. So we're going to move into pigeon. If you wanted to stay here, you could bend your right leg and bring your left leg in. If you know pigeon, feel free to go into pigeon right now. I'm actually going to just do this. Turn some music on. I think my computer is freezing a little bit. Turn a little music on. Definitely freezing. Oh well, it'll work out. You're ready, switching to the other side. Your attention moving to the left. Just allow yourself to come out of this. You're pigeon tucking your way onto your back. Going to take our knees towards our chest. And just move slightly to the left. Squeeze in and then drop your knees to the right. Jump into a cycle fist. And bring your knees to the center. Taking them to the other side. And move your hips. And then taking them to the other side. Leg here. I think it's just this. to